Rock people! Welcome to another MPJ new rock album review show where we review the latest rock albums that have been released, rate them out of 5, and I do so with the dulcet tones of Paul, of Andy, and of Trish.
Hi.
And also with the aid of Chris, who's not here, and Dom, who's in a dentist chair with a broken tooth. Okay, so today we are reviewing Wytch Hazel's and the Lamentations. Trish, let's start with we'll start with Paul today. We'll start with Paul.
Actually Lamentations, not laminate.
Lamentations. We're not putting stuff in plastic.
Well, you know, we can laminate. Let's see if we can get into the Hall of Fame, then we can laminate it and send them off to the band. Paul, pronounce it properly and let me know what you think.
So it is interesting that Wytch Hazel have posted on Spotify that in a parallel universe where the new wave of British heavy metal happened 600 years earlier, and Wytch Hazel are the band of choice for the discerning plantangent headbangers. Which is interesting, as in this parallel universe, headbangers come from a royal lineage. And although I could go more into that, this album seems to be aimed and produced at such an audience. I would therefore call it folk metal. It's very pleasant, but with no grit or grind, and unfortunately, nothing to shout about.
Just to say, we did review, because V is for 5, we did release album 4, which was Sacrament, by the way, which got a 3.2. So let's see if it's going to get any better than that. So this is a returning band that we have reviewed previously. Andy?
Yeah, it's very old school sort of kick back in its sound, isn't it? All this stuff. It's sort of like what you call, like, I guess, traditional English or British rock kind of stuff. You know, go back to sort of early Led Zepp or a bit of Black Sabbathy kind of stuff going through all the vibes through from the early 70s. I did enjoy the sound quite a lot on it, but I felt like it was a little one-dimensional, I guess, in its sound. Everything did sound quite similar from song to song through it. And, they've got such a lot. I think this band probably has, with their sort of style, and an opportunity to sort of like really kind of mix things up a little bit sonically. I'd like to see like more sort of folkiness, old school coming into it. If you're going to go down that line and really lean into it and bring that stuff up, and it seems like they've just sort of like kept the sort of one sort of guitar-y sound, one sort of line through everything almost which they do through, for which I think is probably maybe holding them back a bit. But I did enjoy, if it was just like one song I thought that's a really good song, but after listening to like 5 or 6 of the same sort of level of songs, it's just like it's not, it's just one dimensional a bit too much.
Somebody who's definitely not one-dimensional. Or is she? Let's find out. Trish?
For me, there was no denying on listening to this album that this is classic 70s metal rock. For me, a bit reminiscent to Blue Oyster Cult, but with their own individuality. I really like the opening track with I Lament. There were plenty of catchy riffs and melodies, creating some upbeat rock music tracks. Some of which stand out for me immediately, like Run the Race and Elements. But more standout tracks were The Citadel and the Celtic-sounding Elixir. Albeit Elixir was an instrumental I imagined being taken to a far-off magical land. This is a solid, good offering for its genre and will please fans' listening ears for sure. It did please my ears on listening, considering this is not a go-to genre of rock that I would put on to listen to out of choice, but I wouldn't turn it off either if it was on.
Paul's a Blue Oyster Cult.
Correct, Trish. Yes. There's no way this sounds like Blue Oyster Cult. You're going to have to do some homework. You're going to have to listen to the album.
It's personal listening.
Which is in the top 50 or 20 metal albums ever. And I listened to Imaginus album as well. And you will find that they are nothing like Wytch Hazel.
Finished?
Go and do your homework.
Now, Trish. Now, Paul. All right, okay. This was solid, wasn't it? It was a really good album. And I agree with everything. I really like the Demon Within, but I think that I didn't think it had, and I kind of agree with what you say. It was very safe. It was a very safe, solid, well sung, well produced, well performed album that again was thoroughly enjoyable because I kind of like this sort of style, but didn't really lift me up to a plateau of going, oh wow, this is amazing, I've got to play this album again. You know, probably after 3 listens it was just like, okay, I've kind of heard this album now, and I'd put it on and I'd have it on, but it's not like, it wouldn't be like a go-to album, not with the amount of albums I've listened to per year. So yeah, it was good, it was solid, but nothing that got my pulse racing to go, I must put that again. But at least one of the songs did actually make my cool playlist, which was The Demon Within. So let's find out, will it? With Chris and Carly voting as well. Only 5 votes count, but let's find out whether or not this will get... well, first of all, will it beat 4, which got 3.2? Will it get into a Hall of Fame? Let's find out then, shall we? Paul, then, let's start with you then.
I'll give it a 2.5.
A 2.5. Andy? Oof.
I gave it a 3.5.
You're right. And you know what? Dom also give it a 3.5. And Cully give it a 2.5. Trish?
I gave it a 3.
And I give it a 4. Nothing outstanding. However, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a solidly good album. It was an enjoyable listen. But that got a 3.3 because we're going to drop. Whose vote are we going to drop? We're going to drop. We'll drop Paul's vote. We're going to drop Paul's 2.5. What the heck? And it got 3.3. So an improvement on 4, which got a 3.2. So pretty solid in our top 400 albums of all time. So which is pretty good. Anyway, so what do you guys out there think? Please leave your comments and please like and subscribe. Let us know what you think, and keep on rocking. And tune in for the next episode where we'll be reviewing Split Chain and Motion Blur. Thank you very much. Goodbye and keep on rocking.